Next.
Ready for Mr. Dean Deal?
Mr. Deal. All right, this is cause number CR 24-49, State versus Dean Evan Deal. Mr. Deal, will you raise your right hand? I'm going to place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So you got it.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You can lower your hand. All right, your name is Dean Evan Deal, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Deal, are you a United States citizen who reads, writes, and speaks English?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental condition?
No, sir.
Okay. And in this case, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Manning. Do you feel like you've had enough time to talk with Mr. Manning about your case and that you've had all of your legal questions answered?
Yes.
Are you pleased with the work that he's done for you?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the paperwork that you've read over and signed today that's part of your plea agreement? Say again.
Yes. Do you have a question? Oh, no.
You understand everything that you've read and signed?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything before we go further?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Manning, do you believe Mr. Deal to be competent?
I do, Judge.
And you've explained to him his rights as they pertain to this case?
I have.
And you believe that he is entering into this agreement intentionally, knowingly, and voluntarily?
I do.
All right, Mr. Deal, you are charged by indictment with a first-degree felony offense of possession of child pornography greater than or equal to 50 depictions or videos. A first-degree felony does carry a range of punishment of not less than 5 years or more than 99 years or life confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and a fine of not to exceed $10,000 if imposed. I see that the plea agreement in your case is upon your plea of guilty, the state's recommending that your punishment be assessed at 20 years confinement in prison, along with court costs and reimbursement fees, and you would receive 174 days credit towards your sentence for the time that you've already been in jail. In addition, there are a few, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unfiled cases that are all failed to comply with sex offender duty of registration. All those cases would be dismissed and resolved with this plea agreement. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then, understanding the plea agreement and the range of punishment, Mr. Deal, how do you plead to that crime? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty to that crime because you are in fact guilty of committing that crime?
Yes.
Has anybody threatened, forced, or pressured you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
All right, the court does accept the defendant's plea of guilt at this time. Mr. Manning, any objection to the stipulation of evidence?
No objection is offered.
All right, then the stipulation is admitted and the court does take judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state?
Judge, just a minor point of clarification. The kind of the new breakdown of the different degrees, it's 50 images or any video that depicts a sexual assault of a child. So we're alleging one video that depicts that.
Thank you, Mr. Hartwell. I appreciate that. Anything further from the defense?
Nothing, Judge.
All right, and this is a Chapter 62 offense, is it not?
Yes, it is, Judge.
Is your judgment checked off as being a 62? Mine's not checked. On the front page, towards the bottom, right above the credit time.
I do not show that it is checked off, Judge. We did execute, though, the admonishments, and he was given a copy of Chapter 62 as a part of our plea negotiations today.
Okay. If the state could correct the judgment to check off that the defendant is required to register as a sex offender.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me see if I have a stipulation. I don't think I have a stipulation, Mr. Hartwell. And let me tell you, Mr. Hartwell, if there's anything that we need to refrain from displaying to the public, as far as names of victims or anything of that nature, if you'll just let me know, we could probably set this up another way where I can review it online without public disclosure. So,
Okay, yes, sir. This one, there are no names.
all right, thank you, Mr. Arlen. All right, based on the court's review of the evidence, court finds that there is sufficient evidence to convict Mr. Deal of this offense. The court does follow the plea agreement. The court convicts Dean Evan Deal of possession of child pornography, a first-degree felony. The court does assess his punishment today pursuant to the plea agreement at 20 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Court orders him to pay $290 court cost and $20 reimbursement fees. Court awards him 174 days credit towards his sentence for the time that he's already spent in jail on this cause. And the court dismisses under section 1245 all unfiled failure to comply with sex offender duty of registration as outlined in the judgment. Mr. Deal, you hereby remanded to the custody of the sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I'm gonna have you step over to be fingerprinted.